I'm pretty sure you all watched somehow Terminator. If not, you all saw Sophia the robot, the first robot who get citizenship from Saudi. We will talk about this later, but when we look into the aspect of cybersecurity, okay, there is lots of benefits coming through which AI is going to solve.
Okay, perfect. So can we drill down a little bit, which areas in particular of cybersecurity are going to benefit from AI? There are various areas in cybersecurity like penetration testing, incident response, etc., etc. So which are the areas which are actually going to be benefiting from AI and ML right off the bat immediately?
All right, I was talking about themes, about if you work in a SOC, which I used to work many years ago, the volume of data is tremendous. If you're working in a global organization like myself, I work for a global bank at the moment, I know our cyber defense centers receive millions of logs. I mean, right before that, I used to work for Microsoft, and Microsoft proudly says that they receive 6.5 trillion logs per, 6.5 trillion logs, and through that, they are still able to identify an attack. So the biggest benefit for me of AI is going to be controlling the volume of data and letting me focus onto what I want. This is basically man versus AI. Why? I could be in a SOC, working 24/7, as any other human being. If I'm in a night shift, most probably I'm going to be sleepy, being on lots of coffee. I mean, I'm always on lots of coffee regardless, but, and can you imagine around 4 a.m. a cyber attack starts, where I'm extremely tired, I receive lots of logs, I might miss one single log, which can cause, as you all know, to keep an eye on everything, to identify unusual activities, give me the ability to analyze everything in real time, and take me as a human, my attention, to detect any possible attack. And if possible, depends on the tool itself, responds to this attack, but more importantly, prevent. Again, one of the biggest aspects for me as benefit will be automation. So I don't have to do the same thing across many different organizations. AI can be, it's like credit cards. I mean, lots of banks are using this now very effectively. If I fly to India now, after hopefully Corona, and I use my credit card to buy a Rolex watch, most probably the bank is going to stop me saying, hey, Erdal, you are usually not buying this big amount of purchase, and specifically not in India. Probably I will receive a call from the bank stating if I'm really making the call. AI is something similar. For example, I cannot be logged in from South Africa and in 5 minutes Australia, in another 5 minutes Russia. What we call impossible login. Without AI, this was an issue for me to detect because I had to go to the logs. But now AI can help me to flag these issues, stating, hey, this user was within 5-10 minutes all across the globe. Are you sure this user has not been hacked? Or let's imagine you go to your office or you work from home, doesn't matter. You on average use 1 gigabyte of data. You connect to some specific shares, you print out some specific pages, you delete some specific documents, where someone somehow steals your credentials and logs in to your organization as you. A hacker will usually try to explore other machines, right? Through lateral movement, or through some brute force, or through going to a share, try to copy more than usual. An AI, a good AI security system can detect this. We'll say, hey, Dear stock analyst, usually Erdal works in a day on average 200 megabyte data or 2 gigabyte data. Today, Erdal works with 100 gigabytes of data. Are you sure it's really Erdal? Yes, it could be really Erdal, maybe moving a data center from A to B location, but it could be also someone pretending to be Erdal, me, to steal this data. So AI brings lots of benefits there. Or, as I said, Microsoft, 6.5 trillion attacks. And through, let's say, you are a small business in Bangalore, India. Then, another friend of mine who is a CISO at Standard Chartered Bank, another friend of mine who is a CISO in Deloitte, regardless of my job title and where I am, if there is an attack detected, the AI system can share this across the main engine and can notify all other agents to ensure to be aware of this kinds of attacks. So what we call predictive analytics. Or, as I said, SOC, a SOC analyst has to go through lots of SIEM and log management tool where an AI can help that person, she or him, to be much more focused. So, in reality, AI, I believe, is making big contributions into cybersecurity.
So I'd just like to take some questions from the audience now. So there's a question here from Mohammed Lukman. And Dr. Erdal, he's asking is, what is the path to get into the field, into this field of work for beginners? If somebody wants to get into this field of AI and cybersecurity, what is the career path that he should be taking?
Training. Good training, not because this is an EC Council initiative, but I would highly recommend get certifications like CEH, Certified Hacker, to understand cybersecurity, or CISP to improve your skills and get some other credibilities. Or when it comes to AI, I mean, AI is a big chunk. And to be honest, it is perfect time to go into AI because there is a huge talent gap in the industry. I wrote a book called Cybersecurity for Beginners. Maybe what we can do is, if people tweet about this event, we can select top 3 winners, and I can give away that book called Cybersecurity for Beginners if people ask good questions like this. There, I explained everything within 300 pages, but there is lots of free tools, free resources where you can gain access as well. I would highly recommend to, again, get some certifications, because certifications will show what you know, such as I said, EC Council certification. I would ask for real examples of case studies, how they help. Because, as you said, almost every security vendor currently advertise that their technology has some sort of AI. You should be able to detect the buzzwords, because you need a security solution. Yes, it's powered by AI, but unfortunately, as I said, at the moment, the really good tools are by the big players. AI requires lots of investment. You should know how to build the fundamental systems that requires to operate the technology, how to scale the AI system in a hyperscale environment, how to, because AI is an umbrella term, which is used to describe a range of, as I said, programming disciplines. So you should ask the right question, how it will help you. Then I say how. For example, Microsoft gives the example, 6.5 trillion, we were able to detect an attack in Germany for a small business. Or Symantec says that their EDR solution will help you to automatically respond to some sort of attacks. How? If an attack has been detected, that computer will automatically put in a quarantine zone. Or FireEye, for example, they promise to you, if you use the incident response team, they will help you to find any kind of anomalies much faster. Or like KeepNet Labs, for example, which is a phishing company, a phishing awareness company, promising you if a phishing email comes through, they can scan thousands of mailboxes at the same time and give you an exact number who clicked on it. So I gave you the solution from different vendors, right? And the question lies on the solutions. How fast? How much? What is the upscale? Because AI tools, unfortunately, they are not so cheap, you should question the return of investment. You should question the benefits. You should question the automation, not the intelligence, okay? Why? Don't forget, AI is a learning system. It will keep learning. So that's why you should understand how the automation behind it is running. And of course, all this can be put in a question format.
Okay, so we're now going to get ready to show a poll. We want to do a small poll. And I would request the audience to kindly take a moment to look at the poll questions and to click on one of the options. And while that's happening, I'll continue chatting with Dr. Erdal. May I request my backend team to kindly put the poll on screen? Thank you.
Which is another great question. Why does your business want to adopt AI solution? As I said, it should give you competitive advantage.
Okay, is the poll visible on screen? Can we have the poll on screen, please?
They attacked a nuclear station, power station, which is totally close to the world through social engineering. So, of course, the attack vectors are different. You should look in the motivator. If your aim is money, of course you know where to hack. If your aim is ransomware, you really don't care. Or if you want to make a Bitcoin, you really don't care where you attack. As long as you can encrypt their computers. Happened to Travelex, it was on the news. I think Travelex paid millions of dollars to ransomware guys to get their computers decrypted. So back to the topic. I see lots of attacks. The most important thing is for me is, I think this could be also a good question. Me as CISO, what kinds of cybersecurity solution will I look when does it should be AI enabled or should be AI enhanced? The most important thing for me is here to see what kind of human system integration is given us to me. Any good AI system should make humans, my life, easier. We all talk about cybersecurity skills gap, right? That's why I sit down and wrote the book, and it's one of the best sellers on Amazon. Why? Because many people want to switch to this area because there's a gap. So I have to ensure that the tool will give me a hand to protect, detect, and respond. And this should be in a changing landscape. The technology should help you truly to discover an immediate cyber attack as quickly as possible. As I said earlier, logs. There are lots of logs, terabytes of logs sometimes. Logs are behavioral indicators. AI is learning. You should have some sort of virtual analyst with machine learning, which lets sometimes the human to control or to bypass the human to give the solution. Because the boss is going to ask you, why are you spending this money? You should come and tell the board or your manager how it's going to show, I remember Brian's first question, to shareholders, to customers, to partners, how any cent you spend to this tool will help you to be better. So the economic benefit versus competition. Again, how a tool can impact the people in long-term competitiveness. If you ask the right questions, this can help you to move forward and select the right tool and build the proper cybersecurity strategy, which is really important. I'm pretty sure you all heard about Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu was a soldier who lived 500 years before Jesus Christ. He said, to win a war, you have to know yourself. You have to know the enemy, and you have to know the attacking ground. Without knowing these three aspects, you cannot win any war. And to win a war, you have to build a strategy. Because if you have no strategy, you will have no success. The same thing applies to hackers. Doesn't matter on how big your organization is, doesn't matter how big your team is, if you don't have the right strategy, supported with right people and right tools, and right partners, you will not be succeeding.
Okay. So Dr. Erdal, we have a few minutes left, and I'd still like to ask you two more questions, and again, give the audience a chance to ask questions. So my second last question, before I throw it open to the audience, is let's think a little bit ahead. At the beginning of the presentation, we spoke about the movie Terminator. And if you have watched it, it's about how machines become more intelligent than human beings and stop listening to human beings. And then there's a war between the machines, the rise of the machines. And there is Skynet, a corporation. So very, very fearful of what would happen in the future. What would happen when AI overtakes human intelligence? When the security tools stop accepting human input? Do you think that's likely to happen in the future? And what precautions do we take?
Really, really good question. I mean, movies are usually, for me, indicators. Again, just think about, I'm pretty sure you all watched Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which was also, I think the last series was late last year out as well.
Yes, the fourth Terminator.
The machines, the robots, they learned that, AI has been implemented. What did the humans do in the movie? They cut out the power to, they attack the power stations. But the AI enhanced robots, they were so smart, they tried to build their own power source. As a result, they started to get the right movements to take over in the over the city. And when the war started, during the war, the humans decided, as I said, to cut the power. But the robots were smart enough to learn that humans can be the power source themselves, which led the slavery of all mankind. And if you remember in the movie again, most of this, robots started to kill the humans, and they started to build their own environment. Again, this is the movies. Let's remember 2017 Facebook. Facebook stopped in 2017 the AI experiment after they discovered that two of the chatbots had invented their own language that only could, nobody could understand but that two chatbots. This happened after Facebook challenged the chatbots to try and negotiate with each other's different traits. So it didn't just happen in the movies. Again, happened with Microsoft. If you remember in Twitter, Microsoft created a great chatbot which was responding back to tweets. But humans, they hacked the chatbot because this chatbot was based on machine learning. So the more tweets were about racism, about bad word swearing, the more the machine learning would pick it up. And as a result, it started to give racist responses back.
person here coming from the UAE, audience from the UAE. Her name is Subela Bhatia. And she's asking, Dr. Erdal, can you give some good examples, use cases of AI in UAE, as everyone likes to use the term AI for their products?
Use cases, I mean, I know the UAE government, for example. Subela knows as well. She's a good friend of mine, by the way. And she's also a C Council friend. But I know the Dubai government, for example, is using AI in their projects to make us UAE citizens, I'm not a citizen, UAE residents and UAE citizens' life much easier. They integrate AI solutions, like they have robot policies, policemen as robots. Or when, at the moment we are in lockdown for our health and safety, they had drones cleaning, disinfecting the streets. So they're using all these tools and technology to make our life easier as residents. And I don't know what's going to happen, but for example, 2020, the Expo, I know they have many AI tools integrated to make the visitors and the organizers' life easy as well.
For our audience out there, I put up another slide. You can see that our next webinar is going to be on the 30th of this month at about 9 o'clock in the night. And we have a very interesting speaker. The speaker is none other than Chris Roberts. And going through his profile, we see that he's a cybersecurity strategist, hacker, and a security researcher. And his topic is there on the slide as well, the superhero CISO. I'm not going to call out the entire title. That's a long title. I've also shared the registration link in your chat window. If you want to register for our next webinar, which is on the 30th, you can click this link and you can register right away. Just to tell you a little bit more about Chris Roberts, I was reading something interesting about him. The FBI once accused Chris Roberts of hacking into the security controls of the airplane and taking over the controls of the cockpit. But that was widely reported in the media. But Chris Robert was actually, his version of it was that he actually hacked the in-flight entertainment system, which is behind your seat in the aircraft. He was just trying to check, if it had any vulnerabilities and any weaknesses. And we know that in-flight systems anyway are not very secure. So whether that's true or not, we're going to discuss that with Chris Roberts on the 30th. Please do join me at India time. It will be, I think, 9 p.m. It will be a very interesting discussion. Chris Roberts is a very articulate speaker. He's a cybersecurity researcher.
I will be joining.
And yeah, so I'd like you all to join the next webinar as well. It's a very interesting speaker. And before we go, a vote of thanks on behalf of EC Council and CISO MAG. We are really grateful to Dr. Erdal Ozkaya and for sharing his knowledge with us and giving us rich insights on the application of AI and ML to cybersecurity. We also want Dr. Erdal, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
you.